Yeah. Coming at you live. It's your boy C-Hop, man. The neighborhood wise, man. I'm here on 23rd Street, 23rd and Lehigh on Bonzel, man, with my man Quad, Poetry Chronicles. So my man, you know, we real familiar with each other. We did some time together in the feds, you know what I mean? Stand up, boy, him and his brothers. Legendary in the federal system, you know what I mean, for holding Philly down. That's a whole nother thing. But today I'm here to holler at him, man, talk a little bit about the poetry and stuff like that. And you know, how do you feel about the poetry? What gives you your energy and your spunk and your drive to give off these good words?
A lot of my poetry comes from a feeling. I can't force myself to write anything. So it's a feeling, it's a vibe. Anything I needed to express myself. It started out as a way for me to express myself to people that stopped listening to me when I called them on the phone when I was locked up. For some apparent reason, these people, they took to me getting on them in a poem as opposed to me calling them on the phone. So when I learned that they wouldn't answer the phone, or they would answer the phone, but they wasn't really trying to hear what I was saying. Once I started putting it in a poem form, rhyming, this, that, and the third, they took it. They understood it better.
Right.
So that was a way, and it was just a way for me to be heard, man. Like prison was something you had to find a way to get things out of you.
So how many years did you do this to chime that in?
The background to it was me, my brothers, blood brothers, we got indicted for this block right here. We got indicted for Bonzel, Lehigh, Bonzel, Somerset, me and my brothers. My older brother Mark, middle brother Rashid, I'm Quadre. I'm the youngest. We got indicted. I was sentenced to 35 years. My oldest brother was sentenced to 33 years. My middle brother was sentenced to 31. When it all came down to it, we did 15 years. We got the Booker fan in 2006. 2005, 2006, Booker fan, Blakely, for those that know case law. That's how we gave back time. And Obama passed the all drugs -2. You were still there.
Yeah.
Okay, when I got the all drugs -2, I didn't even know I was coming home.
I remember that.
I didn't even know. So, yeah. You know, I'm blessed. So one thing about prison, it wasn't a bad thing for me. Prison was actually a good thing. Prison was one of the best things that happened to me. Prison was one of the best things that happened to me, and me getting sentenced to 35 years was one of the best things that happened to me. Why do I say that? Me getting sentenced to 35 years was a game changer. It was an eye-opener. If I'd have got sentenced to 5 years or 10 years, I'd have came out here the same way.
Right.
I'd have felt like I got a bag, I got something to prove.
Right.
But me having to be set down for that time, waking up and going to sleep with 35 years for 6 years of my life, it made me grow up. It made me grow up. It made me start seeing life differently. Then the more I got into the religion, the more I learned about my religion, the more I found avenues to release a lot of things that was pent up. So the 3 things that helped me make it through prison was mental, physical, and spiritual. How did I get these stuff out of me? My mental was reading and writing.
Right.
That's how I got all this stuff out of my mind, reading and writing. My spiritual was learning my religion, praying, you know, being around the brothers, you know, just the brotherhood. Yeah, you know, that brotherhood is real. Yeah. And my physical was playing basketball and working out.
Right.
So that was the way for me to get out any frustrations I was having in me. Seek my Lord when I feel overwhelmed, when I feel like I'm ready to explode. I would either play basketball, work out, or write.
Right.
So that helped me a lot.
I think what you said was important because I think that a lot of these young guys that's out here, and of course, in hindsight, it's 2020, and when you go through something, it's easy to sit back and say, that's how people think. Even though it's not easy, people think, okay, it's easy for you to say that when you're older, or when you got over it, or when you this. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize the effects that and the life-changing effect that this type of time have on you and their decisions and their actions that's being made out here. Because a lot of people catch these small cases and then they get enhanced. And you know, once you go federal, you can have a case you got caught with 2 nickel bags, and that can start your time from 10 years. The next thing you know, you're looking at 10 years mandatory. And this is another reason why a lot of these guys is going in these spots is food, and then all different type of stuff is happening. But to say more.
Oh, let me say something real quick.
Shout
Shout out to my homeboy, Positive Vibes Only, Kareem.
Look like you crossed out hate, cross out fear, cross out doubt, and cross out negativity.
That's right. Positive Vibes Only.
So let me ask you a question. Like, in today's world, coming out saying that it's different and all that, how do you feel about the state of the younger guys today that's actually on the same street corners, same situation, similar, even though the time is changing, ain't like it was in our time? But what would you say to them? Like, how do you feel about what's going on with the state of mind of the youngins today?
Well, the youngins nowadays, if you talk to them, I did an interview with some youngins. We was doing something for a school project. I came home, my first, a month after coming home, I started attending CCP. So I go to CCP for a liberal arts degree and behavior health and human service. I'm halfway there. So I've been home almost 5 years. So we had to do research on the tools that people use in the neighborhood.
Right.
What resources do the neighborhoods provide? So I told my classmates to come to my neighborhood. Come to my neighborhood, we can interview people, we can walk up and down the street, y'all be safe.
Right.
So we interviewed these same youngins down the street.
Right. And
the youngins feel like there is no tomorrow for them. They don't see a lot of times when the youngins when the youngins walk out their door, they look up to the people they see in their life every day. The people that's in their life every day is the people they see outside their house. A lot of youngins growing up without parents. Mom working 2 jobs, trying to provide the best they can. So a lot of kids is left on their own.
Right.
So when they walk out their door, who do they see? They don't see bus drivers. They don't see water department employees. They don't see people that got these jobs or these skills. They don't see them no more because once people make it, they leave the neighborhood.
Right.
So what do the youngins got to have now? Who do they look up to? They look up to the people they see every day,
Right.
which is guys like them that's in the streets.
Right.
So if you talk to them, and because I was just like them, I was a young, angry youth that didn't love my life. I didn't like myself. I wasn't mad at everybody else. I was really mad at myself because I knew it's more I could be doing. I know it's more I could do in my life, but I was wasting my time. So this is why I say prison was one of the best things that happened to me. Other people might need another type of eye-opener.
Right.
A life-altering, something that changed their life dramatically. It could be the birth of a baby, it could be a loss of life, it could be prison, it could be anything.
Right.
But a lot of these youngins don't see tomorrow. They really don't see tomorrow. They don't see them making out of their neighborhood. This neighborhood is built like a maze. All the houses lined up particular ways. A lot of these kids would never make it downtown.
Right.
A lot of these kids will never get on a plane and travel.
Right.
A lot of these kids gonna live and die in the same neighborhood.
Right.
So if you walk around every day and you gotta walk out your door and you gotta carry a gun to walk out your door to go make some money, in all actuality, you're dealing with something more dangerous than anything. You're dealing with a mental health thing now.
Right.
If you gotta walk out your door, put a vest on and carry a gun to go make some money in a neighborhood like this, you're dealing with something. Post-traumatic stress syndrome. It's gotta be something mental.
Right.
We're not in Iraq. We're not overseas. There's no reason why we should walk out our house with
like
a
we at
gun,
war. Yeah.
carry a gun just to go make some money.
Right. A lot of people don't realize that that's a mental health element. Like that element right there alone, like how that traumatizes you, how you suffer from PTSD, how it's unnormal. It's not normal to feel like that. It's not normal. And that's why what I learned, right? You know how they set up a jury or just talking to people that's from the county, suburbs, different places. They can't fathom that mind frame.
Yeah, what we live through.
They cannot fathom it. And from TV, that's why they so critical in their opinion about what goes on in the ghettos, because in their mind they think it's as simple as, oh, you don't have to do that, or you don't have to worry about that. You don't have, and that's the same thing with the situation with the police. And I want to kind of start wrapping it up with this. I want to touch on 2 things and give you the mic and say I want you to highlight your poetry, closing out. But I also want to ask you your opinion on these things that's going on with George Floyd and the protesting and the police, because you know we come from a time where the reason, and I would try to tell people, when you 6, 7 years old and we don't have nowhere else to go but the corner, but the neighborhood, because we don't have no recreation centers or no powers or nothing, we hang on the corners around the older guys, the cops come, we learn to run early. Yeah. And it's because you're getting harassed for no reason. Like when we talk about the guys that might just got a low 40 or might not even, I ain't talking about the typical drug dealer or the guy with the gun.
But the guys just hang out, ain't got nowhere to hang out at.
Nowhere to hang out.
Because that's where all their friends at.
It was harassed. So when you grow up watching the regular people get harassed, it do something to you. And when they beat you up, they tuck on you, they throwing you against the wall, kicking your legs, taking you up, dropping you off rival neighborhoods to try to get you caught up in something. You know, walk home from here. You know, drop your cross.
Take your shoes, all that type of stuff. Yeah, all that type of
stuff. So growing up is a reason why the dislike and the hatred for certain type of cops is around. So what's your whole thing for the protest in closing? And then I want you to highlight your poetry on the way out.
All three goes hand in hand. Protest, looting, and rioting. All that goes hand in hand. It's a shame that some black businesses got burnt out. Y'all with the sacrifice. These kids is angry. They tired of watching, what they tired of, this is what they tired of. They tired of killing each other and getting punished, but get killed by a cop and no punishment.
Right.
They tired of people getting away with murdering them and there's no punishment. They tired, these kids really need a way out, man. Like looting, rioting, marching. Talking to my father's sitting in my car right there. My father grew up in the era when my father was born in 1950. Exactly 1950. My father's 70 years old. So he come up in the time.
He don't even look like you said.
with a 6-month-old son. Now,
alhamdulillah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. The marching, all that goes hand in hand, but these people don't respect marching. They don't respect marching. Oh, why y'all looting? We don't own these businesses. We don't own the businesses. The same businesses that these people was looting from is insured. They're insured. The same way that these people was murdering us, hanging us, burning us, but now all of a sudden when we get angry and we come back, now it's we the bad people. Right. They forget all the stuff we've been through all these years that we had to put up with. The most silent person, the main people they want to silence is the black man. Right. A black man can't open his mouth about anything nowadays. A black man can't run his house. A black man can't voice his opinion on anything. It's just, it's hard to be a black man and stand up for what you believe. Because as soon as we open our mouth or we don't agree with something, we persecute it. We persecute it. We drag through the mud. If I don't agree with something, it's not me hating on it, I just don't agree with it. For instance, I don't like judges. I don't like cops. Do that mean that I'm copophobic? No, I just don't like cops. You can still go do you. I just don't like cops. Right. So a lot of these kids, they come up in a society that tells them they can't open their mouth, they can't kneel, they can't march, inadequate schools, education, inadequate healthcare, inadequate food. Mom's working 2 jobs, father's not there, father dead, locked up, might be gay or anything. But so these kids don't have an outlet. You take their recreation center from them. What are they supposed to do? What are they supposed to do?
Farrakhan made a statement, and I don't even.
I don't mess with no Farrakhan.
But I like the statement that he made. He said that we don't have why are they so scared of us as black people? We don't have a reputation of killing them and hanging them and burning them. So why are they so fearful?
Why?
We don't have
it's a guilty conscience.
History of killing us.
It's a guilty conscience.
No doubt.
The guilty conscience is at any time they know that we can stand up and take this shit all over. At any time.
If we just unite.
Right. But see, my main thing is we always knew what went on in our homes. But when we start putting our business out in the street, now we being critiqued. Now we going at each other. When a kid can get on social media and say, oh, F my parents, F my family, and all this and that, because they parents might have told them no about something. You have just put all your business out in the street. One thing we learned when we was coming up was what? Your parents said, what goes on in our house stays in our house.
Right.
What goes on in our house stays in our house.
Right.
We so busy going at each other, we forgetting that these people got their foot on our neck.
Right.
I still say it's Willie Lynch.
No doubt. No doubt.
That's what I say it is.
They find different ways to break us down. Even like one of my biggest things, we gotta start wrapping up.
I want to talk about so much, the breakdown of the
we
black family,
everything.
everything.
We're gonna come back on a YouTube podcast and really go into something. But I say this, and then I want you to go ahead and say something on your poetry, because that's more important, that people will come listen to your thoughts and listen to you and maybe get benefit from it. But they figure out a different way to break us down. Like they separated us. They keep us around each other and to speed it up. They keep us around each other, keep us black. But what they did was they took the generations before you in the neighborhood. Your mom might have went to school with this person's mom, and they mom went to school, and you might go back 40, 50 years of family traditions and families knowing each other. So the village can raise a child because everybody knows everybody. And nowadays, everybody don't know everybody because they keeping us black, but they mixing us up now.
Yeah.
So now I just moved next to you. We don't even speak.
Yeah.
We didn't grow up together. We didn't go to school together. You don't say nothing to my kids.
Yeah.
All of this adds up to another way to break us down. So now we're not even supporting each other in our own neighborhoods. At the least, before you can get support in your neighborhood, you was comfortable in your neighborhood. Now you can't really be comfortable in your own neighborhood because the people in the neighborhood
it's not the same.
It's not the same as
you got different people growing up in your neighborhood. People moving back and forth on your block. People moving on your block. People moving off. So the block isn't. You don't have that family structure on that block. That village. That village is broken now.
That village is broken, and they figured out a new way.
Especially when a parent can tell you, another parent, that watch my kid, that don't touch my kid. Don't. You got a problem with my kid, you bring it to me.
Right.
No. If I see your kid doing something wrong, I'm gonna check him. Then I'm gonna bring him to you.
Yeah, that was how it used to be. But it's so bad. I don't want to, because we gonna get back on this on the podcast on the YouTube channel. But it's so bad that it's even getting to the family where your brother or sister kid. That's my cousin. The brother or sister kid, you can't even tell them.
Yeah.
They kids, and this your niece or nephew.
Yeah.
So it's getting so ridiculous. So it's getting to that point. But closing out. What do you say about your poetry? Because you got some deep poetry on all levels, whether it's love, deep thoughts, whether it's this type of stuff. And we can go forever with this, but to keep it reasonable for people to still listen and pay attention and focus in. What did you close out far as on the pot?
My poetry is from the heart. Anything I say, I'ma stand behind. Anything I post, I stand behind. Sounded like shots today.
I know the firecrackers driving crazy.
But my poetry is not to be offensive.
How you doing?
My poetry not to be offensive. My poetry is just me voicing my thoughts. That's what it is. And my thoughts might not be yours. My thoughts don't align with today's society. Right. The way I feel, I got old school values.
Right.
I stand on old school principles.
Right.
So a lot of my thoughts, I'm a dinosaur nowadays.
Right. But
that's all. That's my poetry.
What's the name of it again?
Poetry Card Chronicles. # Poetry Card Chronicles. You can find it on Instagram Live. Instagram TV. Poetry Card Chronicles. My Brother's Keeper 78. I'm my brother's keeper. My brother. My only thing is, at the end of the day, you got one life to live. Live your life in a way that at the end of the day, you can say, I'm proud of the decision that I made. Now, I'm not saying every decision you make gonna be a good one, but make sure that scale is balanced.
Right.
Because when it's all said and done, we still got to answer for how we live.
Right, no doubt.
Live your life, love it, make no excuses about it.
All right, thank you, man. If we can just help one person, if somebody got benefit out of it, then we did our job. Coming out over and out, man, neighborhood wise.